things you've driven in your past, but kind of talk about the natural progression of making your way up to the Nationwide Series.
Well, a lot of people say it's pretty tame, getting into NASCAR, coming from the sports that I've done with action sports and even monster trucks or just nitro circuits, jumping out of planes without parachutes and stuff. But honestly, NASCAR is the most competitive sport in America and probably in the world as far as anything with the motor. And for me, it's all about competition. It's all about trying to see how far we can push it, how fast we can go, and there's no better place to do it than in NASCAR. And given this opportunity, I'm going to run into the ground and see how far we can take it.
Is Indianapolis, this is your first opportunity here. Did Indy kind of get you excited to have a chance to run at one of these Indianapolis tracks?
Indianapolis really got me excited. I mean, there's two places I think as a driver that you really want to drive. One's Indianapolis and one's Daytona. And, to get a chance here, when I come out to the Lucas Oil Speedway is really quite an honor, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I've always come out and watched a lot of the other races around here. I actually had my knee surgery right in town, so I spent a lot of time in Indianapolis, unfortunately, but it's good. And this is one of the flatter tracks on the circuit, which is really good for my background because I'm not used to the banking, I'm not used to the drafting, and all this will come with time. I'll definitely have to learn it. But to start out, I think this is going to be the closest, especially with the hot conditions. Everything's real loose. So like, oh, it's going to be slipping and sliding all over. I'm like, all right, slipping and sliding I can do. So we'll see what happens.
Have you been to the 500, the 400 before at the Speedway? Are you familiar? You've got some familiarity with the place here.
Definitely familiar with the area. I've actually never been to a race here at the Lucas Oil Speedway. So definitely, I've seen it on TV. It feels a lot different driving. Having the opportunity to drive today than it looks on television, but that's usually the case. So I don't know. It was a lot of fun. It was awesome. David Stremme let me come out and use his pretty much hand-built late model. So it's not quite the same car that I'll be in, but just to get a chance to drive this course before next weekend is super big for me.
We've caught wind of the possibility that you're interested in going for the $5 million in Vegas in October. That's a challenge kind of beyond comprehension for some people, but for a guy like you, it seems like a have-to-do kind of thing.
Everyone's like, are you really going to go for the $5 million challenge? I said, look, given the opportunity to drive an Indy car, I'd be an idiot to turn it down. Of course, I got to get in that car. I got to test it. I mean, I've driven pretty much every other form of racing. I feel like I can be safe. Whether or not we're competitive for the $5 million is a whole other question. But definitely, we're still working out. We'll see what's possible. See what licensing I need to get. And I'd be an idiot not to go for it.
What prospect somewhere down the road of running the Indy 500, Brickyard 400, one of the big races at IMS?
For me right now, I just got to get through this next weekend, jump into that Nationwide Series, and I have expectations of doing all right, but I have no wild hopes of coming in and winning this thing. I mean, every driver that lines up thinks that they can win or they wouldn't be there. Every driver thinks that they can be champion or they wouldn't even bother showing up. But it's been very humbling coming into the K&N Series, and there's literally kids, 16, 17, 18 years old, that have beat me consistently in the K&N Series, and we've got a lot of work to do. But we've got a great team with the Boost Mobile Toyota. I'm looking forward to coming out there. Everyone in NASCAR has been very helpful. So I was a little surprised. It was almost like an X Games deal. Everyone's like, hey, come on out, drive my car, try this, let's go race here. And for me, that was a huge honor, and definitely I have a lot of respect for these guys. And we're probably 3/10 a lap off, and I'm like, hey, that's close. And all my team's like, oh my gosh, 3/10. How are we going to make that up? So we'll see what happens next weekend.
You're pairing this up with your X Games commitments next weekend also. How is that going to kind of keep everybody busy?
I'm not going to have time for anything come next week. I mean, honestly, going home today, I have to really finalize my trick for best trick. It's 720. It's something that no one's ever landed. I've landed it one time to mulch and crashed a million times. My back's still sore from last time I tried at X Games 2 years ago. So I got 2 days there, then I fly to California. Have 2 days of rally car testing. Haven't been in a rally car since the beginning of the season. Then we got best trick the next day, freestyle the next day, fly all night, end up here in Indianapolis. Nationwide debut. I'm so excited for that, and then fly all night and hit rally again. So it's going to be one heck of a weekend. Just hope I can stay healthy through that first event and best trick and go from there.
You're like an excited 12-year-old doing this still. You're still like a kid out here.
I feel like a kid. I mean, everyone's like, oh, well, why are you trying NASCAR? Why are you doing this? I'm like, 850 horsepower car. I get to race against the best drivers in the world, and then I get to fly over here in a private jet and go here. Why not, man? This is awesome. So I am a kid in a candy store right now, and I just hope we can keep it up. Honestly, I'm not doing as much as I need to be doing in every single one of these sports. Just I'm a little thin right now, but I tell you what, this is something I want to go in the future, and I need to get as much experience as I can. Indianapolis seemed like a great place to start. We'll see where this goes, and try to spend a lot more time at the shop, in the car, learning about everything I need to learn to hopefully be more competitive in the years to come.
including the X Games next weekend, what would you consider a successful weekend?
You know, it's really difficult to say what would be successful. I mean, for me, best trick, not dying, would be a success. If I try it and I do and I land it, it'll probably be a gold medal. But if it's not, that means somebody else worked that much harder and that much better. Like, freestyle for me is not about winning or losing. It's about stepping up the sport, stepping up to the next level. You know, then coming here, honestly, just not getting blown out of the water. I know Carl Edwards, we raced the champions, and I was giving him a hard time. I had won 2 of my heats, and he didn't win any of his heats, and he's like, you know what, when I lap you the first time, I'm going to wave. When I lap you the second time, I'll give you the finger. When I lap you the third time, I'll put you in the wall. And he was kind of joking, but I think if I get lapped 3 times by Carl Edwards here, he's probably going to put me in the wall. So my goal is to not get lapped 3 times here. And then, you know, I haven't been in a rally car in a while, but that's the one event of the weekend that means a lot to me to get on top of that podium. And, you know, there's a lot of great competition, but that's one event that I really feel like we have a good chance of winning, and, you know, I'm going to give it everything we got.